Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Civ and Chill. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing great. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I just got back from a trip to New Orleans with some of my friends, so shout out my friends. It was a great time. I feel like I went in with not a ton of expectations because I've never been to New Orleans or really like that area of the South. And, I feel like I've been stressed with my life and shit. So I feel like there was so much going on, I didn't even have like that much time to get hype about the trip. But I feel like it was a really good time, really good for me. There was great music, great food. I feel like I bonded with my friends. That was great. I also even met a subscriber, which was crazy. In fact, she was a singer at one of the like music bars we went to, and she sang. She was a real talented singer, and so shout out Kat and her friend. Shout out you guys. They were really nice to me. So shout out you guys. Had a great time, and yeah. With all that being said, today Today on Civ and Chill, I want to talk about how much I fucking hate people. Now that I talk about what a great time I had in New Orleans and meeting everyone, this has kind of been something percolating on my mind for a while. So obviously, this has nothing to do with anything to do with the trip or the people I was around on the trip or anything. Just more just general like feelings I have about the world that I've been thinking for a while. But yeah, I guess what initially got me started kind of thinking about this stuff is that I feel like, in the last video, I kind of touched on how I feel like I was having some issues with like personal relationships in my life. And I feel like, it's not necessary for me to put anyone specific on blast, but basically that kind of got me thinking recently about how just like if the people in my life who are supposed to be my friends don't treat me that well, then how the fuck am I supposed to like trust that like humanity in general is like good? You know what I mean? Like the people who like know me like as a person and like because of that we formed a relationship where we're like exchanging values and ideals and like small petty favors every now and then. If those people are like people I feel like I can't even like trust like that much, then it's like what the hell am I doing here? And of course, maybe it's just like, I have this thing where I kind of like get overstimulated, or maybe that's not the right word, but like overwhelmed by constant human being, the messiness of other human beings. I guess that's why the channel has is called Introverted Madness. But yeah, it's like I feel like I get overwhelmed by the relationships I have in my life sometimes, and that causes me to like retreat into my metaphorical cave where I don't really talk to anyone, and then I start this thing where I start to like question the overall goodness of humanity and whether people are like good or just like fucked, and if like I need to like move to a different planet or something. Something else that kind of made me start thinking about this is we should build an archer here because I feel like Rome is going to try and destroy us soon. But yeah, earlier, but anyway, it's something else that made me think about this, kind of like my deep simmering, I don't know if hatred is, I'm going to be talking crazy in this video about how like, I hate people and stuff. Like obviously that's like a very sweeping general statement. So it's like, I'm like exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, something that made me think about how I hate people is how like earlier in the summer I got in like this argument with my neighbors, which like if you know me, I'm not like I'm not like an argumentative person, or at least I like to think I'm not. But basically, I got into an argument with my neighbors because they were parking their car like somewhere they weren't supposed to. That was like one, illegal, two, like made it like super inconvenient for everyone else like living there except like them who got a free parking spot, and like dangerous. So like it was just like not an appropriate place to park their car. And I got in like an argument with them, and it's just like New York does this thing to me where like I feel like I have to be an asshole even though I don't want to be, because there's like this thing in New York where if you're nice to people in New York, they take it as a sign that like you're a pushover and like they don't actually have to listen to you. So like I feel like if I ask them like nicely like, "Hey, can you move your car?" they either would have ignored me straight up or just like move their car, but then realize like, "Oh, this guy is like a total bitch. We can like, fuck with him another way." Maybe not, maybe not like explicitly fuck with me in other ways, but like, kind of like take advantage of him, and like he'll just like come with like his tail between his legs and like ask us, like 3 weeks after we do the thing that we're not supposed to do, to pretty please stop. And it's like, yeah, bro, it's like I would prefer to like talk to my neighbors and be like, "Hey, please don't park your car here," and like just have that be the end of it. But like I feel like New York City is crazy because like it forces you to be such an asshole. And if you'll indulge me, I'm about to go totally in on fucking New York and how it's fucked up. In fact, my next video, which hopefully is going to come out next week, is kind of like all about this, and we'll like go into more detail on it. So I'll try not to spoil it. But basically, I feel like people in New York, you're like so incentivized to like be selfish in New York because, living in the city is crazy, and it's like the city is constantly trying to like crush your soul with like, I understand like, with my neighbors, it's like hard to find parking and shit, right? So it's like when it's hard to find parking, you're incentivized to like be an asshole and like just park somewhere you're not supposed to park because it's convenient for you, and because the cops aren't going to enforce like shit in New York City unless you kill someone. And even then the cops are like 50-50 about whether like they're going to like do something about it if you fucking like kill someone. You know what I mean? So people are like mad incentivized to be selfish, and it's just like people, I don't know if it's like an American thing or a New York thing, but like people are like super not in, there's like no culture of like being, how the fuck do you pronounce this? Courteous? Courteous? I think that's how you, courteous to like other people. My friend actually, who I went on the trip to New Orleans with, was telling me how like he went to Japan, he was visiting Japan once, and how like in Japan there's like no public trash cans, and like they just have a culture of like, oh, like you carry your trash with you and like throw it out when you find a fucking trash can wherever. And that was like actually shocking to me because we don't have that fucking culture here in New York City at least, and really in most cities in America. It's just like people are like, "Oh yeah, fuck, it's like, it's convenient for me to throw this garbage on the ground, so I'm gonna fucking do it because that's the only thing that matters to me, is that like what is the easiest thing for me to do, I'm gonna fucking do it, like even if it like ruins, maybe not ruins everyone else's life, but like makes life worse for everyone else." And I guess that's like the fucking tragedy of the commons playing out in New York City, which is sad. But yeah, just people are fucking crazy in New York. People have no courtesy. I always fucking bring this up. I brought it in the last video, but it's like I see it so often when I'm trying to like fucking be a pedestrian in New York City. It especially enrages me when I'm walking my dog, because it's like, all right, if you want to like fucking kill me and run me over, like, whatever, like, don't bring my dog into it. You know what I mean? Like, my dog is like the one pure good thing in my life that I love with all my heart. Like, don't mess with my dog. But yeah, it's like, like at a stop sign, like every stop sign in New York, I would say 90% of the time, I'm not even exaggerating, 90% of the time, like if I stand at the stop sign, a car is like approaching at about the same time, what happens is the car slows down, doesn't even stop, slows down for like a millisecond. And if I do not throw my body into the crosswalk when the car is coming to when the car is slowing down, if I don't throw my body in front of a car, the driver interprets that as, oh, I'm allowed to go first. Fuck this pedestrian. I feel like I'm going crazy, bro. Did y'all not take the driving test? Like, that is not how a fucking stop sign works, dude. Like, and, you know, I trust the people who came up with the laws, that the stop sign works the way it works for a reason. You know what I mean? But it's like, people in New York just have no fucking courtesy. I'm really just going in. Sorry, I'm gonna get to like the bigger point about like misanthropy. Like, this video is actually more supposed to be about like misanthropy and like how, like, I don't know, how like that as like a worldview maybe, and like whether it's good or bad. But like, I'm kind of just like getting all my like anger out now about like why I'm misanthropic. But like I said, just indulge me. Like, people just have no fucking courtesy. One time I was like coming up on a stop sign, and like in front of me was like a woman trying to cross the street, and like I could see like a big ass truck like cross into the intersection, like just fucking keep inching its way forward at a stop sign when this woman's trying to cross her street. And it's like, bro, like, you're gonna win this fight every time, Mr. Truck Driver. Like, Mr. Pickup Driver, Mr. Pickup Truck Driver. It's like, bro, like, we all know you got a fucking big ass dick with your big truck. You could fucking kill us with your truck. We're not, like, we're fucking pedestrians, okay? If you want to fucking cross the street so bad, like, I guess there's nothing we can fucking do unless get fucking murdered by you, which no one wants to do. But it's like, damn, dude, like, could you just let this woman cross the street for like 10 seconds? Like, where you gotta be, where like you gotta be there like 10 seconds faster. You know what I mean? It's not even about like the fucking, it's not like, even if the law was like whatever, like, you know, whatever, it's like, it's not even about like anything. It's about like on the human level, like, have some courtesy. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's none of that shit in New York, which pisses me the fuck off. When I was in New Orleans in the South, like, people were like being like nice to me in like small ways. It's like, you know, people were like saying, excuse me, if we were like both like going some way and like we were about to bump into each other, people will let me pass or I will let them pass. You know, it was like small basic shit. So maybe it's not like an all of America thing. Maybe it's just like a New York thing or an East Coast thing. I think about that line Noah Kahan has in Homesick. He says, I'm mean because I grew up in New England. So I think it might just be a fucked up East Coast thing. But like, yeah, it's like people are being nice in the South. Like, literally the second my plane touched down back, I was in Newark, so in New Jersey. But once I touched back down in New York, technically New Jersey, it's like all of a sudden, like literally the second we touched down, you know how like you get off a plane and like there's an unwritten rule that like, all right, you let people in the row ahead of you get off a plane first. I know there's people who like to, like, as soon as the plane touches down, people fucking get up and start sprinting to the front of a plane, right? But that just fucking causes like even more chaos that is like we're all already stressed out enough on the fucking plane. You know what I mean? Like it's already enough of a stressful situation. We all want to get off the fucking plane. You know what I mean? It's like, do you really gotta like fucking like shove and push your way to the front? And then like it finally got to like my row to get off the train, and then the guy like in the row directly behind me, like pushed past me and like got off a train or got off a plane, and like I was seeing him like he was literally like directly in front of me walking off a plane because after he got off, I got off. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, is the like 5 steps you're ahead of me right now on in like walking off the plane like worth like being a fucking asshole to me? Like maybe not an asshole, but you know what I mean? It's like people just don't have common fucking courtesy. And that just really makes me I don't know, like disappointed in humanity because it's like I feel like the world we make is a reflection of like humanity, right? And then I feel like the world is so bad because we are all so bad. And then it like there's like this idea that it's like, hey, maybe if like we were all nice and just like good people, the world could be like a better place. You know what I mean? Fucking Michael Jackson said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I guess maybe Michael Jackson isn't the best example to bring up right now in terms of but uncontroversial good people. But you know what I'm saying? It's like I think about like why we have like we have a world where like we have venture capitalists with like billions of dollars. They invest in like random fucking AI crap. And we also have a world where we have like homeless people in the streets who like you know we don't it's like and people don't feel like an obligation to help them. It's like I know people are gonna like be like, oh, there's like the economic system is very complicated, and it actually with venture capital you can like invest in companies that create jobs and increase GDP, and then like through the creation of jobs you can eliminate homelessness and like overall increase push society forward with like technological innovations. But also at like a simple level, it's like we have billions and trillions of dollars that we feel it's okay to like throw at like 100 startups, and like maybe one out of 100 startups succeed, and all the rest of that money like goes down the drain basically. We have money for that, but we don't have money to like help homeless people. If you like were like, hey, why don't we like take like $1 billion from a venture capital firm and invest and like just help homeless people with it, right? You would get like so many excuses as to why like that is not possible. We live in a society, blah 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 blah. Like you would get so many reasons as to why that's not possible. And I feel like all of those are like just excuses. You know what I mean? Like on one level, I get it. Like yeah, the world's complicated. On another level, it's like the reason it's complicated and sucks and like we feel like there's no way to solve these problems is because people are selfish and bad and like we can't figure out a way to like figure out a system to like make everyone happy, right? Because like if we made like a super charitable society, some people get like really upset. They'd be like, "Oh, that's not fair. Like I work to like be a millionaire, so like I deserve to have like a big ass mansion with like servants and shit." You know what I mean? Like it's like I feel like the world as we make it is a reflection of the badness of people, and I guess that is disappointing to me. You know what I mean? I feel like like I said in the last video, people are always saying that the meaning of life is other people. John Green specifically, he has a quote that's like, the meaning of life is other people. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I gotta meet some different different people, but to me, like, saying the meaning of life is other people, to me feels like so unempowering, because that means I need to put it's like basically putting my faith in God, because like I can't control God and I can't control other people. You know what I mean? So if you're telling me that the meaning of life is other people, I feel like that is just like, that's really like scary to me, because it's like I said before, like it's not something I can control. So it's basically like leaving the meaning of my life up to a roll of the dice, which I don't fuck with. And also, just for like however fucking long I've just been ranting, it's like, then it's like you're kind of telling me that the meaning of life is bad, bro. Because like, have you seen people? People are bad, bro. So I guess like kind of touching on that, I feel like this is a little unrelated, but I feel like I've been trying to like search a lot more internally for like, just like, not even meaning, just like search internally for like peace, because um I feel like that is just like a better place to look and like something that I can actually like work on, as opposed to like trying to look for like peace and meaning in other people, because of everything I just said. So fuck you, John Green. I don't trust that shit, bro. I don't trust that shit that the meaning of life is other people. Um, yeah, bro. Like, I feel like the average person is like, I don't know. Like, this is gonna make me sound like really elitist and bad because of like my background. So I'm gonna phrase it in a different way. I feel like the average person should not have a driver's license. You know, going back to what I was saying earlier about like, fucking people don't know how to fucking stop sign works. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the average person, the lowest common denominator type of person, like, doesn't stop at stop signs. You know what I mean? And it's like, that is like, that's like bad for like humanity, bro. It's like, we gotta like start at like stopping at stop signs. You know what I mean? If we can't do that shit, then yeah, we're never gonna fucking achieve world peace, and like wars are gonna keep happening. You know what I mean? Like, if like if you want like, you know, no more war to be like a goal for humanity, which like personally, like, I guess I'm a fucking like crazy dreamer idealist for saying like, I hope one day we could like not have war, because I'm sure people are be like, oh, that's like crazy. Like, what are you like? What are you, fucking stupid? Of course, there's always gonna be war. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy, but it's like, we gotta like start doing the small shit, man. Like, how are we ever gonna figure out all the big shit if we don't do the small shit? And I'm gonna go in on the neighborhood I live in once more. Like, the people in my neighborhood, like, they're so fucking pissy about like dog poop, right? And I pick up after my dog all the time. God forgive me for like the 2 times I didn't bring a bag and didn't pick up my dog's poop when I first got my dog. Like, I know like I've eternally sinned, and like, you know, I'm probably going straight to hell for that. And, you know, I can only hope that my fellow man can forgive me and not torture me too hard in the pits of Tartarus for that. But it's like, yeah, people in this neighborhood are so fucking passive aggressive about dog poop. There's like 10 trillion signs about like, pick up your dog poop. But you know what there's even more of than dog poop in this fucking neighborhood? Litter, bro. There's people throw their fucking trash on the ground, like I said. And yet, there's no fucking signs like, hey, stop littering. You know what I mean? People just like to like get pissy and mad about like shit. Like, you know, I bet like everyone who fucking has a sign like, pick up after your dog, they don't have a dog, but they do litter. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. It's like, all right, if you're gonna like get pissy about like dog poop and like be like, oh, you have to follow the letter of the law with that. It's like, all right, then I better see you never littering. I better see you stopping at every single fucking stop sign for all pedestrians. Like, I better not see like this shit that's like you're doing it just because you're selfish and it's convenient for you. And then when it's not convenient, and then like, when it's convenient for you and inconvenient for everyone else, you're also going to do that shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Dude, I feel like this whole like rant is just like why I gotta like move out of New York City, bro. But yeah, like I said, I'm making another video about that. So hopefully that'll expunge even more rage from my mind. But yeah, it's kind of funny that dude, I feel like I'm like getting so much like deep resentment out of my heart right now. But it's funny that I feel like it's funny timing for me to go on this rant right now because I actually did have a really good time in New Orleans, and I feel like my trip kind of restored my faith in humanity a little bit. You know what I mean? Something my friend said to me on our trip was like, we were having a good time, and he was like, "Damn, look at what happens when you touch grass." You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe that's why New York City is so fucked, because there's no grass here, bro. Like, people in New York City, they gotta touch grass more, because people here, they get so locked into, like, their routine of going to work and, like, just surviving in the city that they forget to, like, be, like, that they live in a world with other human beings, and, like, we all have to, like, try and survive and get along, and, like, there's a reason we're no longer, like, in the wilderness, like, being cannibals, fighting each other to survive. It's like we're trying to defeat, like, the badness in our hearts. You know what I mean? And I feel like maybe that is kind of, like, touching on, like, I get that, like, humans are, like, bad. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a perfect person either, dude. Like, I'm a bad person sometimes. Like, the argument I got in with my neighbor, like, I feel bad about that, bro. Like, I feel like there was a better way I could have handled it. And it's like, I get that, and it's like, I'm trying to, like, be a better person about that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to improve myself so that I am not bad. Just because, like, not even because, like, because, like, not even, like, for my own benefit. You know what I mean? Because what would be for my own benefit that I just learned from my experience with my neighbors is that being an asshole works. You know what I mean? Like, being an asshole gets people to move their fucking car. And it's like, if I wanted to be selfish, I would be like, oh yeah, let me continue being an asshole. But, like, and once again, I'm not saying, like, I'm a good person for, like, wanting to be better or anything, but I think it's like a basic humanity thing is to, like, try and be a better person. And it's like, when I don't see people trying to, like a very minor thing for you to try to be a better person is to try to stop at a stop sign when someone's trying to cross there. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you don't even want to try to do that, then it's like, I feel like I gotta give up. like I'm not the guy to, like, sit here and, like, try to convince you, like, devote all the time to convince you to be a better person. You know what I mean? Maybe if I was, like, a super better person and I was like Gandhi or Buddha or something, I would devote my life to trying to change your mind to be a better person. But when someone's a fucking asshole, what I think to myself is, fuck, I live in a world of assholes. Like, what can I, like, I'm not gonna, like, be the one to, like, I got enough shit trying to, like, stop myself from being an asshole. You know what I mean? And trying to, like, make myself be a better person. I don't got time to, like, also fucking be your teacher in this game of life and make you a better person. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like, yeah, dude, like, I feel like the secret is to, like, maybe not the secret, but, like, people gotta touch grass more. I feel like people, yeah, people in New York are like not down to earth, and then people I feel like who live in more natural areas are down to earth. You know what I mean? So it's something about like the concrete man that drives everyone crazy. I feel like, yeah, dude, y'all got to go to Prospect Park, go to Central Park. Like, I get that it's hard to find grass in New York. Like, I'll even fucking touch the grass, like the weird grass on the side of a road. You know what I mean? Where like a tree is. Like, you got to get your grass where you can get it, man, in New York. So like, I hope everyone touches grass some more. Yeah, and kind of this whole rant, like I know it's coming from like a very like my personal perspective, right? It's because like I've had all these shitty experiences recently that like all of a sudden like I'm losing my faith in humanity, right? And then part of it also, because it's like through like my eyes, like like in my self-reflection or whatever, I got to like think about like whether or not like you know, if like everyone else is the problem, then maybe like maybe it's not that everyone else is the problem. Maybe like I'm the problem. You know what I mean? And that like I'm just like seeing problems everywhere. if like, but I'm the problem. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the case in this specific context. You guys are not gonna gaslight me into thinking it's crazy that you should stop at a stop sign. But I do think that like part of my misanthropy. I don't even know how this word is pronounced, bro. Is it misanthropy or misanthropy? It's probably misanthropy. I got a comment one time on one of my videos that roasted me for mispronouncing a word, and ever since then, man, I've been worried about mispronouncing words. That's why I can't read the comments anymore. But yeah, like I get it, right? Like I'm like the reason I hate people is like probably like I don't know, like 25%, that might even be too low. It's like some percentage like attributable to just like me and my worldview and maybe like my expectations of people, right? If I just expected people to be assholes, maybe I wouldn't be this upset, even though I feel like I do expect people to be assholes. So it's still upsetting. So I don't think that's it. But like I get it. Like part of it has to do with me. I feel like a weirdo. I get it. I'm like kind of a weird person. So like part of my feelings about other human beings has to do with myself more than the other person, right? Like my interpretation of someone else is based on what their actions or whatever, but it's also based on like my interpretation, my brain's interpretation of their actions. So it's got something to do with me. So that being said, I think it's always worthwhile to kind of just reflect, try to be self-aware. I try to be self-aware because I don't want to be like, oh, why the fuck is everyone being an asshole? It's like I don't pick up my dog's poop, and then everyone's yelling at me. You know what I mean? I do pick up my dog's poop, but you know what I mean? It's like, all right, everyone's yelling at you. That's kind of a jerk move, but you also didn't pick up your dog's poop, so that's probably why. Once again, I pick up my dog's poop. I pick up my dog's poop. Please don't shame me for that. But yeah, it's good to reflect on like maybe where my own personal biases against like other people come from. And I do think like there are good people in the world, right? Like maybe they're not as common as I would hope for them to be. But like even just like this past week, like I've met good people and interacted with good people. So like they exist. Maybe it's just like I gotta like find them more and like try to like seek out the goodness in the world as opposed to the badness. Though I don't know, dude, because like I said, it's like I feel like I should have bought this tile, so this guy couldn't get it, but that's fine. We want to build a national college here soon. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because game's getting complicated, and I also got some shit I gotta say. what was I saying? There's good people. There's good people in the world. Oh yeah, it's like kind of like I was saying earlier. It's not my responsibility to like try to like encourage other people to be good. I feel like that's true. It's also like I would hope that like when I reach true enlightenment and like we solve world peace, we do live in a world where people like feel supported to be good people. You know what I mean? So once again, I got a lot to look in the mirror with, and like, maybe it does start with me. You know what I mean? If I want other people to be good, I gotta put in the work. But I don't know. Like I don't got the time to be putting in work to help other grown ass people like be good people. So I don't know about that, but I think there are like steps for us to like advance and like keep like moving up with as a like society, I guess. And I would hope that we can get there one day. I think the best thing for any of us to do right now in like 2025 is to like focus on our own individual selves and like try to be good people in like our own lives and like with the people we interact with, and like hopefully from there like it has a ripple effect and like just like spreads. I think that's the way we gotta do it, bro. But yeah, man, I don't know, like what is even like the summary of what I'm trying to say. Like, people suck. I don't know, bro. People suck, and it's like I think like there are like really valid reasons. like sometimes I feel crazy for like thinking that like people suck, but like I feel like there are valid reasons I see for why people suck, and like like the main culprits that I see, the main culprit really that I see is selfishness and like people not wanting to like deal with like their own shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like when I think about like why people are selfish, I feel like it's because like they got like a lot of shit going on in their own life, right? Which I get it. Everyone's got shit going on in their own life. But it's like they don't like want to like face it or like face like their problems. It's like going back to my neighbor, right? Not to harp on it. It's like they can't find parking, so they want to park somewhere like they're not supposed to park, right? They got a problem, which is that they need to find parking. But then instead of facing the problem, what they want to do is like being selfish and creating a problem for everyone else is not like facing the problem. You know what I mean? That is being an asshole. And we don't need like more of that shit in the world. So yeah, I guess that's a nice kind of way to tie a bow on it, I guess. This big ass rant and ramble. I think people are bad. It's kind of understandable because, like I said, we're all humans. We all have like intrusive thoughts, and like I would love to be like an asshole and selfish and do like the most convenient thing for me too, right? Like there's like a part of my brain that's like do that shit. You know what I mean? But like I think we all gotta like try and fight that shit. Like do your best to fight that shit in your own life, because like it had like another thing is like I feel like people think it's like no big deal, right? It's no big deal if like I litter or I don't stop at the stop sign or I park wherever the fuck I want. Like, you know, I'm just one person. It's no big deal. That shit is a big deal, bro. That shit's a big deal because that shit is like the brick upon which like is the reason we have war, dude. Like, I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating and I'm crazy, and like on some level, you know, it's not that like it leads directly to war, but like it is like it that's like the reason why, bro. It's like because people don't want to like have like decent human decency. So that, I guess, is gonna be my plea for this video, is for everyone to please have some basic human decency, and maybe I won't have to be so misanthropic. I feel like this video is like 75% rant and then 25% like thinking about life. But that's what happens when you Civ and chill, I guess. All right, I want to end the video with a new section, Music Corner, where I just talk about some music that I've been listening to recently that I like. I recently discovered this band called Blusher. I think they're really great. They're up and coming. Their new EP Racer, I feel like, is the perfect antidote for the disappointment of the life of a showgirl, because Racer, nothing but bangers. It's like, and you just listen to it and you're like, yeah, these are bangers. You know, like, I was craving some bangers from the life of a showgirl and I didn't get them. So like, luckily me finding Blusher was able to provide me with some bangers. I would describe their music as actually good pop that's like fresh. Like, I feel like a lot of pop music nowadays, like, there was like some innovation going on, and then everyone realized like, oh, like it kind of like settled, and now everyone is copying each other for the algorithm. I feel like Blusher actually makes like pop music in a way I haven't heard it before. I would describe it as ABBA if ABBA went clubbing. So it's like, it's got like the synths, it's got like the ethereal vocals, it's got like, you know, the fun upbeat lyrics, but it's also got like the bass, it's got the drums, it's got like kind of like the 21st century chaos and hype and banger, you know, the banger production. So I've been really digging them. Some songs I would recommend from them: Whatever, Last Man Standing, Rave Angel, and Somebody New. So check out those songs if you want. Another reason I like Blusher is I feel like sometimes with like bands or like groups where like all the band members are singers, like sometimes I feel like there's not a reason for the band to exist, because it's just like, it feels like all the singers are just like taking turns, and like they're a band more for like marketing reasons, so that like they can market all the different attractive band members to like different demographics. I feel like with Blusher, all the different band members actually do like have different voices and like serve different like roles in like the song. Like Miranda, I would say, has like the most like pure pop voice, I guess, like the most like clear voice. It's just like a default kind of pop voice, but I mean that in like the most complimentary way. It's like very like clear and natural, and like just like a natural singing voice, you know what I mean? Jade, she has a voice that's like more ethereal, more like more bubbly. It's kind of like at a higher register, so there's like a contrast in like, you know, you can hear the contrast in their voices. And then Lauren, I feel like, has a voice that has like a cool timbre in her voice, where like her voice like almost like sounds like she has like a natural synthesizer in her vocal cords or something, which I think is really cool. And then yeah, I feel like in all their songs, all their voices play like different roles, and like you can tell who's like singing what part. I feel like in One Direction, sometimes like, you know, like One Direction or Fifth Harmony, sometimes you like hear as different singers and like you can't even like tell them apart. I feel like with Blusher you can tell them apart. So that's my little music corner. Shout out Blusher, check them out. And yeah, that's the video. I hate people, but I'm trying to hate people less, and I'm trying to improve myself too. So that's that. I think we made some good. This was a very peaceful playthrough so far. Rome is being very expansionist, and we're kind of boxed in here. So I think we're gonna eventually have to sail to a different continent, and or go to war with Rome. I think possibly. I don't think compos are going to be able to take them down, but we could possibly rush crossbows and kill them next time. But we'll see. All right, that's an episode. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope everyone's doing well. And I hope everyone is touching grass and maybe finding people in your life that don't drive you crazy and maybe you can form some actual connection with. All right, that's the video. Stay safe. Stay sane. I'll catch you next time. Peace.